Alliance for defending the DIAO Islands captured the dinghy's journey to shore. The Chinese activists were wearing life vests and brought bamboo sticks with them. At one point, a stick fight broke out between the activists and the Japanese Coast Guard. The Japanese were unable to stop them, but later arrested them. Jenny Lam reports.
The 7 DIAO activists were taken by boat to the port of Naha in Okinawa to be questioned by police. They were among 16 people who made their way to the disputed archipelago from Zhejiang province 2 days ago. The 7, who successfully landed on DIAO Island, were arrested by Japanese police yesterday for illegal entry. None of them was carrying any travel document. A spokesman for the Japanese Foreign Ministry says the men will be detained for up to 48 hours if they are not indicted, and if they face prosecution, they may be held for up to 21 days. It will be up to the police to decide what action to take. Japan's Chief Cabinet Minister Yasuo Fukuda reiterated that the islands at the center of the dispute belong to Japan, but he stressed that he doesn't want the incident to damage relations with China. The DIAO Islands are claimed by Japan, the mainland, as well as Taiwan. The spokesman for the Chinese embassy in Tokyo accused the Japanese of landing on Chinese territory and illegally detaining Chinese citizens. Diplomatic staff have been sent to Okinawa to hold talks with authorities there. Meanwhile, a right-wing Japanese group, which had previously erected a lighthouse on the disputed islands, sent 5 of its members to head for the islands again this morning, despite warnings against doing so by the Japanese government. Jenny Lam, TVB News.
The vessel which dropped off the 7 activists near the DIAO Islands yesterday returned to Zhejiang province this afternoon to a hero's welcome. A spokesman for the group claims they have the support of officials. They now want a formal congratulation for their feat. In Beijing, a spokesman for the Foreign Ministry denounced the arrest of the 7 Chinese men by Japanese police. Emily Chan reports.
This was the vessel that headed for the DIAO Islands 2 days ago. On return from Zhejiang province this afternoon, they were welcomed by hundreds of people, among them local officials. A spokesman for the activists believe they now have official endorsement of their trip. He revealed that most of those who took part got acquainted through the internet, and they kept their plans secret until yesterday. In Beijing, scores of people held a protest outside the Japanese embassy for a second straight day. After being stopped briefly by police, they were allowed to stay. A number of Japanese flags were set on fire before police intervened again. A spokesman for the group said their fellow activists were carrying out a topographical survey on Chinese territory, but were unreasonably arrested by the Japanese. Foreign Ministry spokesman Kong Quan this afternoon denounced the arrests. He described the Japanese move as an illegal action that has broken international law, adding that it is a serious provocation against China's sovereignty and the human rights of Chinese citizens. He called for an immediate and unconditional release of the men. Here in Hong Kong, DIAO activists are demanding an apology from Japan and compensation for confiscating 2 dinghies used by the detained men. They started a signature campaign to rally for support. This man, who put his name down, said he would boycott Japanese goods. A spokesman for the activists, Orwa, said a group of them will go to Xiamen this Saturday to join other supporters and set off another voyage to the DIAOs on the following day. They want to carve the word China on a rock there to state China's sovereignty. Activists in Xiamen say some 70,000 people have signed up, and they are now selecting up to 15 people for the trip. Emily Chan, TVB News.
Taiwan's Vice President Annette Lu has called on US President George W. Bush to congratulate her and President Chen Shui-bian for their re-election. This comes after last Saturday's polls in which the incumbents won by a narrow margin of 0.2%. Washington has so far declined to send such a message.
不過登上釣魚島嘅內地保釣人士繼續俾日本警方扣留喺沖繩縣那霸市。陳凱欣依家就喺那霸㗎。陳凱欣啊，中國駐日本大使館派咗人嚟沖繩縣了解情況，有咩最新嘅進展呢？
咁佢哋咧係派咗幾名嘅參贊嚟呢度了解情況，並且係探望過7人㗎。咁就表示咧呢7個人嘅身體同埋精神狀況都係非常之良好。咁而佢哋咧就估計啦，佢哋咧會係被扣留到聽朝早大約係8點鐘左右㗎。一係咧就將佢哋交俾呢度嘅法院，一係咧就會將佢哋交俾呢度嘅入境部門，睇下係咪需要係遞解出境㗎。咁而後面呢一座嘅大廈咧，正正就係那霸警署㗎。 咁那霸警署嘅當值人員咧，啱啱就同我講啦，佢哋承認咧係有其中一名成功登島嘅中國人咧係扣留喺呢一座大廈裏面㗎。咁至於佢哋嘅另外6名嘅成功登島嘅人士咧，就分別扣留喺另外嘅3間警署㗎，分別咧係豐建城警署、汝那縣警署同埋莆田警署㗎。但日本共同社就報道，消息指警方係傾向將呢7個人交俾檢察部門決定係咪咧要提出起訴㗎。詳情由劉慧賢報導。
7個內地保釣人士朝早由日本海上保安廳攔隻，移送到最近釣魚台嘅沖繩縣那霸市。佢哋全部鎖上手扣。日本方面以入境難民法拘捕佢哋，7人都冇帶護照，只有2人持有身份證。警方後嚟將佢哋分別轉送去4間警局問話。據日本共同社報道，佢哋講出自己嘅姓名、年齡、住址就答係中華人民共和國，並且反覆強調釣魚台係中國領土，堅決否認非法進入日本。喺問話期間，佢哋同調查員一直處於各有各講嘅狀態。日本外務省話，如果7人不被起訴，最多只可以扣留佢哋48個鐘。大共同社報道，警方傾向將7人交俾檢察部門，由有關官員喺21日內決定係咪起訴佢哋，抑或交俾入境部門處理。中國駐日本大使武大偉傍晚再去日本外務省抗議日本扣留保釣人士，而使館已經派人去沖繩交涉。
使館的這個官員，跟他們已經見面，現在他們的這個狀況良好。
有沒有受到日本方面的怎麼樣的對待？有沒有打他們？
他們這個談話的情況看，沒有。
日本外務省就抗議中國示威者喺日本駐華大使館焚燒日本國旗。內閣官房長官福田康夫話，各方必須冷靜處理事件。預料外相川口順子下個星期訪華嘅時候，會重申日本擁有釣魚台主權，但就唔希望事件影響兩國關係。外務省又話會勸右翼團體日本青年社唔好登上釣魚台。不過沖繩警方話11個青年社嘅成員已經到咗沖繩縣石垣島，並且租咗艘船，準備隨時出發去釣魚台。無線電視記者劉慧賢報導。
咁今日呢7人喺日本沖繩呢一度接受盤問期間呢，日本嘅極右組織團體呢，就係日本青年社，曾經係有人呢嚟到呢度抗議㗎。咁佢哋就表示啦，佢哋曾經喺釣魚台島上面呢係建立過一個燈塔。咁咧佢哋話，如果呢個燈塔係俾呢7位中國人係破壞或者有任何損毀嘅話，就要求呢7人係要賠償㗎。咁再講翻那霸警署呢一度啦，咁頭先同個當值員去傾過啦，佢哋就話咧呢一名中國人係扣押喺度，但我問佢個中國人係咩名咧，佢就唔肯回答。佢即係話咧，如果想知道更多嘅詳情，喺聽朝早咧大約9點鐘度啦，沖繩縣較大嘅警察本部咧係會有一個記者會回答記者嘅提問㗎。咁我度報道係咁多，仲有最新消息為大家報道。先將時間交翻俾呂秉權。
唔該晒陳凱欣同外面嘅同事。外交部副部長戴炳國召見日本駐華使館臨時代辦原田親人，再次就日方非法拘捕中國公民提出嚴正交涉。而一批保釣人士下晝就咗
幾十個中國民間保釣聯合會嘅成員同埋市民下晝到日本駐華大使館外抗議，並且焚燒日本國旗。其中一個保釣人士馮錦華嘅太太張慧雲就向大使館方面遞交抗議信。佢話覺得丈夫為咗釣魚台作出嘅奮鬥係值得㗎。
我們自己的寶貝已經被一個無恥的強盜強行搶走了，難道你就只能說我為了避免武力，我不和他發生衝突，你拿走就拿走吧？這樣豈不是助長了強盜這種猖狂嗎？從一直開始來，我就在擔心，但這種擔心係數是不同的。這次發生這種情況以後，我希望這種情況今後再也不要發生。
而外交部就話，中國政府已經9次向日本政府提出嚴正交涉。
關於釣魚島的問題，我想我們已經跟日本方面提出了交涉。這個釣魚島以及附屬島嶼是中國的領土，這個是不可爭辯的事實。我們已經跟日本方面提出了強烈的交涉，嚴正的交涉，希望他們能夠採取一切必要的措施，保障我們這個公民登島公民的那個人身安全。
外交部發言人話，已經向日本表示抗議。
我們認為這是違反國際法的非法行為，而且是對中國領土主權和中國公民人權的嚴重挑釁。那麼中方對此表示抗議。
對於有市民喺日本駐華大使館外抗議，外交部發言人話：因為日本一系列嘅行為刺激咗中國人嘅民族感情，佢哋不得不通過某一啲嘅方式嚟到表達強烈嘅義憤。無線電視駐北京記者李嘉文報道。
外交部駐港特派員楊文昌表示，中方主張透過外交談判解決釣魚台主權問題，而3個港區人大代表去
形成了一個高達1.8米直徑